Hey, it's Rod B. Thanks for watching. Well, if you watched my last video, I put the abalone inlay in this Explorer style guitar. I'd cut the fin off the back of it just to do something different. On this one, I'm going to install a Strat style tremolo in this body. I don't want to use a tune-o-matic bridge on it. I've used them before. There's nothing wrong with them. I just want to do something different. But I searched YouTube and searched, and I watched videos of guys putting in the tremolo and routing the pocket, but none of them showed me exactly what I wanted to know. You know, how do you center it up? You got a pattern on the front and the back. How do you center them up? How do you make sure they're even? And I really didn't get all that information on any of the videos I can find. Now, there are some good guys out there and they do it and they did it right. Now, I did learn some stuff, but there's just a couple things that I wasn't sure about. So I ordered a pattern from StewMac, and I'm not sponsored by StewMac or anybody. This is just a pattern that I'm using, and I'm going to follow their instructions on how to put the tremolo pocket in this and install this Strat tremolo bridge. So that's what we're going to do. Let's get started. Okay, I wanted to show you this before I got started putting the center on this and marking everything where the router pocket goes. Is that I'm using a not a really expensive tremolo bridge, but it's not the cheapest, and I think this may be for a foreign body guitar, because the StewMac template, it comes with the holes for the bridge on both sides, whichever one you're going to use, and on the side they have them countersunk so you can actually screw this to your body. Well, a good idea is to take your bridge, if you're going to use this template, take your bridge and put it in the pocket and then line the holes up, because that's where your screws are going to go in when you mount it, and make sure that they line up, because if you put this pattern on there and you use the two holes on the outside to put it on there and they don't line up, well, then you're going to mess your body up trying to get the hole to line up. You're going to make it bigger and wallow it out and stuff like that. So put it in there and make sure they match. And on this particular one, when I center it up, one hole in the center matches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that hole, and it's actually the hole in the center in between the two lines in the middle. I'm going to mark that hole that way. When I go to put the bridge in, I know where center's at in my pocket, and I don't have to worry about getting the bridge center. But anyway, I wanted to let you know that if you're going to use this, check and make sure that the holes on the bridge match up with the holes on the template. Now, I got my body on the table, and I'm going to take some blue tape and put it down so I can mark the center. I'm going to take your tape measure. Now, this is a 25 1/4 scale neck. So I'm going to go on both sides of the neck, and you're going to measure it from the fretboard side of the nut. I'm going to come down and I'm going to mark 25 1/4 on this side. I'm going to measure the other side, and I'm going to mark 25 1/4 on this side. Take my straight edge and mark it. What I need to do is get the center. So I'm going to take my pattern, line it up, and then I'm going to mark the center on my tape right here, because there's a center line, and I'll mark it on my tape here. Take my straight edge and then line up my marks. Okay, I got my tape on here, I got my scale length measured, I got the center line measured. Now I'm going to put my template on it. And what you're going to do if you're using a StewMac, if you've never used one, the line to the left, there's two lines in the center, the line to the left is what you're going to use to center it up on your body. Alright, now you're going to need a 1/2 inch drill bit, and what I use is a brad point drill bit, because it's got the point on it and you can make a mark with it and then drill the hole. So you're going to line up your pattern with the line, got the line to the left, line it up, and you've got your scale length line, and you want to line it up also. Now you got it lined up. Now I'm not going to tape it down yet. You want to drill a hole according to the StewMac instructions on the top right hand corner. Actually, they tell you to measure a 1/4 inch out this way and a 1/4 inch down and drill a hole. This is why I like using a brad point bit. 1/2 inch, it goes right in the corner where I need it. Push down. Now I have a mark, and that's where I need to drill my hole. So, all right, now I got all this set up. I'm going to drill the hole, and hopefully it'll go straight, because if it's not straight, then the back cavity, it's just not going to work. So let's go ahead and drill this right now and see what happens. All right, all the way through the back. Okay, I wanted to show you this real quick. What I did was to make sure that this was straight, I took my drill bit, put it in there backwards, and lined up the corner to make sure I got it exactly right. Okay, I got the template on there, I got it lined up, and you're going to use a 1/4 inch pattern bit, you know, with the top bearing on it, and you're going to route this hole down to 1/8 of an inch deep, and then you're going to take this pattern off and then route it all the way through, but you're going to go in about a 1/4 inch depth at a time, and that is according to the StewMac instructions. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to pull the pattern off of it, but I'm going to do one thing first. If you remember at the beginning of the video, I said that the holes didn't line up with my bridge, except for the middle one. I'm going to take me a rivet, just to mark it. I'm going to put it right in that middle hole. Now I can get my bridge exactly where I want it, and the hole's just right. Okay, I'm going to put a block of wood up under it, and we're going to go ahead and get all the way through. Okay, I've got the pattern on the back for the spring cavity. And I did it just like the front with tape and super glue. And you remember we drilled the hole in the back, which was the top right, which would have been this side on the front actually. When you flip it over, it's going to be on the top left. So when you put the pattern on it, you want to line up that top left corner with this portion right here, the portion that sticks out, and just make sure that the sides and the back are squared up and you're ready to go. So we're going to route this portion out to 5/8 of an inch. That's what we're going to do right now. Okay, we got that routed out. It's 5/8 of an inch deep for the spring pocket. The next step is the block pocket. We need to route this portion out, just this portion, not the back, down to 3/16 from the front. So let me set my router up for that, and we'll route that out. All right, I'm deep enough now I can go ahead and pull the pattern off. And I want to set my square up so I can measure how deep I'm going. There we go, right there, 3/16. There we go, right here. That looks pretty good. Let me get the tape off of it and then we'll mock everything up. Okay, remember the hole that I put here to line up the bridge, because the holes didn't match up, only one of them matched up. I took my square and I measured that hole to the center and I drew a line all the way down. So we're still on a 25¼ scale. So I'm going to take my bridge and I'm going to line it up with that one hole, and I've already drilled a pilot hole right there for that. And I'm going to put one screw in it, but I'm not going to tighten it up. Now, I'm going to line that line up with the center of the holes with the rest of them. And I'm going to drill one more pilot hole. Put a screw in this one. Now I'm going to tighten these two up. Now I'll go ahead and drill the pilot hole for the rest of them. Alright, I got that in. Now flip it over and get the spring holder there. Now don't screw them all the way in, because you got to leave them loose. This is how you adjust the tension on your spring. Now, alright, I got the springs in. I got these mounted on. It's just mocked up. I want to take it apart and do it again. So let's put the bar on it and see what happens. I believe we're just a little too tight, maybe. Loosen it up. All right. Okay, I got the tremolo on, but what just happened was one of the screws, top of the screw, sheared off. Now you might say, well, you're using a power drill. Yes, I am using a power drill, but I know not to screw it all the way down real fast, real far, because the tops will come off. But even with drilling a pilot hole, that screw wasn't even in. Didn't even hardly get started and the top come off of it. So what I'm going to do to fix that is I've got the 2 end screws in there to keep it straight. I'm going to drill all the way through each hole with a 3/16 drill bit. And I'm going to put, and I'm a fan of these, you know it, wood insert nuts and a bolt. Now the bolt, it's got a little bit flatter head than the other ones that were on it. The other ones actually got in the way of the saddle. So that's what I'm going to do now. That's how I'm going to do this. Hopefully I can save it and not screw up the body. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get the wood insert nuts in these 3 or 4 rather, and go from there. There's 4. Now let's see if the screws line up so I can screw this back on. Alright, I got it on now. I went ahead and drilled the other 2 holes off camera, put them in. Now, is it pretty? No. I mean, yes, it could look better, but remember, this is the first time I've done one of these, and I learned a lot doing this one. The screws aren't quite straight, but that's no big deal. Really not going to see them anyway. The insert nuts you can see in the cavity for the spring. Now I'm going to take a Dremel grinder and I'm going to grind those flat. I mean, but they're not going to get in the way of the spring anyway, but I'm going to grind them flat anyhow. But the next time I do one of these, they're really not that difficult to do, to route in the pockets or anything. I'm going to go straight to the stainless steel screws with wood insert nuts, and that's exactly how I'm going to do every one of them, because they're not going to strip out on you and they're not going to break. And I personally believe with the nut in the back, that's a whole lot better, a whole lot tighter, and a whole lot more snug than just your standard wood screw. Because you got to figure, if you're playing this thing hard and you've got that tremolo and you're working it, you're eventually going to work those wood screws loose. It's just like taking a post in the ground. You shake it enough, it's going to come out. Same thing, but with the wood insert nuts, you can shake it all you want. Them suckers ain't going to come loose. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put this all back together. I'm going to build it. I still got some things I need to do, and then we'll come back and we'll go see my buddy John Paul, and we'll see if this tremolo works. Okay, it's done, put together. I got my active pickups in it. Handmade pick guard, handmade cavity covers. All those are made of the same wood that the body's made out of. And then the headstock, what I did was I took the pattern from this guitar, and the headstock shape is actually this shape right here. I just took the pattern, traced it out, and cut it out. I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to go see my buddy John Paul. He's going to play it for me, and we're going to find out if the tremolo works. Hey, before we get to John Paul playing my guitar, I didn't know this, but he's never played one with a tremolo on it before, so we're just going to make a bunch of noise with it just to see if it works. Then he's going to play it for me, and we're going to see how it sounds.